Hey there, East Tennessee. Hope you've been enjoying your Wednesday so far. Beautiful conditions going to be continuing through the rest of the day. We see those highs working their way into the lower 70s, unfilled with sunshine all the way through. But as we get into the evening time, it is going to drop off pretty quickly. Lows tonight falling into the middle 40s, but still not as cold as what we saw this morning. Now, around the region, we're going to be seeing very nice conditions. You see the beautiful 70s for Wednesday, hitting 80 degrees for a couple people, especially in Atlanta, Nashville, maybe even in the Smokies as we get to your Thursday. But then on Friday, everybody gets their parade rained on as that system works its way in Friday morning, with more intense impacts as we look further down into the deeper south. Now, across the region, across the state of Tennessee in particular, we're not actually seeing a lot of cloud cover. A little bit to the south, a little bit up to our north, but we're actually keeping pretty clear. That's going to change within some of the coming hours. We've still got high pressure off towards our southeast, but as that moves out of the way, we start to see growing influence from this low pressure system making its way into the plains. We see a lot of rainfall shooting ahead of it, all the way out through the Midwest, even into Ohio. And then as that starts to travel on through, we start to see impacts further down south, further towards Kentucky, Tennessee, and the deep south. You notice there's a lot of activity here in parts of Arkansas getting into western Tennessee, and there actually is an opportunity for severe weather up until level 3 as we look into western Arkansas. However, that does calm down as it makes its way across, and you see by Friday, we're mainly looking at a level 1 in parts of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and even Texas. So really, we're not seeing any of that here in East Tennessee, but we are still going to get a good little bit of rain. You'll see as it builds a lot of that intensity as it makes its way across western and middle Tennessee, what usually ends up happening is going from the plateau to the valley, that strength drops off, and that's exactly what does occur. We see more of a general shower with some isolated stronger storms or thunderstorms further down to the south, with all that intensity hanging just around where that bubble was. You see parts of Tupelo getting into Birmingham, likely Jackson, Mississippi as well, going to be impacted by some of that rain. So we get through the early hours of your Friday, we get the time to wake up, and a lot of that's going to be gone out of Tennessee. Pushing further into the south, you now see this lining all across the deep south from northern Louisiana through Arkansas all the way over into Atlanta and the rest of northern Georgia. And that's all going to continue to push along with the front sitting behind it. We could see some more spotty showers as we get into the rest of your Friday, but that's generally going to be the bulk of it. In terms of how much rainfall we could see, you could get upwards of an inch, maybe an inch of a quarter for areas further west and maybe a bit to the south as well. But as we get further up north, especially northeast, we see lesser impacts, and they can maybe even see up to a half an inch of rainfall, which is a lot less. Meanwhile, we are going to see some cooler temperatures for the weekend into the 60s. That includes your St. Patrick's Day, with rain chances are actually starting to back off of. But as we look into next week, that's the real cool down into the lower 50s, which is quite winter-like as we see the first day of spring.